With the Supreme Court issuing a verdict directing the government to probe prior cabinet members if their involvement in the Lalita Niwas land scam is suspected, it has opened the door for investigation against former Prime Minister Madhav Kumar Nepal and Baburam Bhattrai for their alleged roles in the land scam. Good morning, I'm Abheudaya Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Incessant rainfall causes floods and landslides in various parts of the country. 1 person killed and 6 others missing in a landslide in Sikri, Makwanpur. Mugling Narangarh road section obstructed due to landslide. Floods in rivers and streams in the Kathmandu Valley enter settlements. Kapan, Samakushi, Anamnagar and Abheudaya area flooded. Activists and politicians in Pakistan criticized several bills that were recently passed ahead of the general elections. Many lawmakers say some bills were approved in haste and bypassed democratic norms. And last 2 pre-quarterfinal matches lined up for today at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Colombia to face Jamaica and France up against Morocco for quarterfinal berths. Landslide and inundation has increased at various places of the country due to incessant rainfall. 1 person was killed and 6 others are missing in a landslide in Sikri, Makwanpur. Chief District Officer of Kavre, Punya Bikram Podel, has informed that 1 person was killed and 6 people from Khanikola Rural Municipality 5 have been buried in a landslide in Sikri, which is at the border of Makwanpur and Kavre. Meanwhile, 1 person has been rescued and 6 others are still missing. CDO Podel has informed that search is ongoing for the missing people, with security personnel deployed at the incident site. Some hydropower projects in Sikri have also been buried in the landslide. Meanwhile, the Mugling Narangarh road section has been obstructed due to landslide. The water level on the Karnali River has also gone up. The water level in Babai Abheudaya has also risen. Chief District Officer of Abheudaya, Narayan Prasad Rijal, has informed that the local administration has urged people living near riverbanks to stay on high alert. The local administration has used sirens to warn the people near the riverbanks of the possible danger of flooding. Meanwhile, the water levels in Karnali and Saptakoshi have also gone up. The incessant rainfall has flooded rivers and streams in the Kathmandu Valley as well. The floods have entered settlements, causing damages. The floods in Bagmati, Bishnumati, Manhara, Rudramati rivers and streams have entered houses and shops and flooded streets. The flood in Dhobikola has inundated Anamnagar area. Likewise, the flood in the Bishnumati River has entered houses, schools and shops in the bus park area. The Samakushi area has also been flooded. Likewise, areas in Balwatar, Kapan, Abheudaya, Thapatali and Balkhu have also been flooded. Flow of traffic in the capital has been affected due to floods on the streets. The Weather Forecasting Division has urged people to stay alert amid the flooding. It has been more than 5 years since the investigation on the land scam of Lalita Niwas in Balwatar started. After carrying out a year-long investigation on the Lalita Niwas land scam, the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority (CIAA) filed a case at the Special Court on February 5, 2020. The anti-corruption body CIAA filed a charge sheet against 175 individuals, accusing them of their involvement in illegally registering the government land of Lalita Niwas under the names of various individuals. Those alleged of involvement in registering 142 ropenis of land under personal names include 6 ministers, 12 secretaries, 17 joint secretaries, Chief Secretary Lilamani Podel, Supreme Court Justice Kumar Regmi, and High Court judges Ramesh Dhakal and Binod Prasad Podel. Then Prime Ministers Madhav Kumar Nepal and Baburam Bhattrai had endorsed the decision to transfer the names through the meetings of the Council of Ministers. Although the corruption watchdog CIAA had filed cases against 175 individuals, it dropped the cases against former Prime Ministers Nepal and Bhattrai, as well as former Chief Secretary Podel, citing lack of jurisdiction. CIAA did not file cases against Justice Regmi and Judges Thakal and Podel either. A former chairperson of the special court says that actions should be taken right away against all the involved individuals following the Supreme Court's verdict on Sunday, directing the government to probe cabinet members if their involvement in the Lalita Niwas land scam is suspected. The government land of Lalita Niwas was transferred to various individuals in 4 phases since the Nepalese year 2049, as per the plannings of land mafias. Around 53 ropanis of land was registered under personal names in the Nepalese years 2067 and 69, citing expansion of residence for special government officials, among other reasons. The CIAA, which had filed cases against former Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Vijay Kumar Gachadar, former Land Reforms Minister Dumbar Shrestha and Chandradev Joshi, and former Chief Secretary Leela Mani Paudel for their role in helping the cabinet take the decision, later dropped the cases against the former Prime Ministers and former Chief Secretary, citing lack of jurisdiction. The Central Investigation Bureau, CIB, of Nepal Police is currently investigating the Lalita Niwas land scam. The CIB, which has already arrested 20 individuals linked with the Lalita Niwas land scam, can now arrest other individuals that were in the then government who had played their role in the land scam following the Supreme Court directive. The Supreme Court issued a verdict on Sunday directing the government to probe into cabinet decisions taken regarding the Lalita Niwas land scam in Balwatar. The verdict has paved way for launching a probe into everyone who had played role in transferring the Lalita Niwas land in the name of private individuals. As per the directive, then Prime Ministers Madhav Kumar Nepal and Baburam Bhattarai would also be investigated now. The Panchayat-era government had taken the Lalita Niwas land from the family of Subarna Samsher Rana by providing compensation. The government land was then registered under various individuals' names on different dates through decisions by the Council of Ministers. The Supreme Court's directive to the government to carry out investigations on the decisions taken by the cabinet has facilitated to book all the culprits involved in the land scam. The Supreme Court has raised questions on why investigations were not carried out on the decisions taken by high-level officials who had breached the laws by creating a nexus with middlemen. With the recent directive of the Supreme Court, the investigation on the land scam seems to be back on track. At a time when there was confusion on whether to take action against individuals who were involved in the decisions taken by the Council of Ministers, the Supreme Court's directive has opened the door to carry out investigations to book the guilty. The Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police, CIB, has formed a committee under the leadership of Superintendent of Police Sanjay Singh Thapa to probe into the 100-kilogram gold smuggling scandal. The Department of Revenue Investigation had, following a directive from the government, handed over the responsibility to the CIB. The department also handed over relevant documents to the Nepal Police 20 days after the incident. CIB Chief Kiran Bajracharya formed the committee under Thapa's leadership. The police have the authority to keep in custody those arrested in allegation of involvement in the case for 60 days for probe. However, as the Department of Revenue Investigation kept those arrested in custody for 20 days already, the committee now has 40 days left to investigate on them before submitting a report to the Office of the Government Attorney. 18 individuals have so far been arrested in connection with the case, including 3 foreign nationals of Chinese, Indian, and Belgian nationalities. One of the arrested has received bail on health reasons, while 17 others are in the Bureau's custody. The session of the House of Representatives called for yesterday was adjourned as a consensus could not be reached between the Speaker and leaders of the 3 main political parties. A notice was issued after the main opposition, CPN-UML, remained firm on its demand of the formation of a high-level committee to probe into the gold smuggling scandal. The session has been called for this afternoon. In the first round of talks yesterday, Speaker Devraj Ghimire had failed to convince either side for a consensus, following which leaders had hinted at another round of meeting after holding intra-party discussions. The second round meeting, held in the afternoon at the Parliament building, also failed to reach a conclusion. Parties of the ruling coalition have been arguing that a separate committee was unnecessary, saying that the state mechanism was already looking into the case. Parties are to meet again today with the Speaker to find a headway. The current stalemate has obstructed the parliamentary proceedings for 2 weeks now, for which other parties at the parliament have criticized the government. Meanwhile, parties have concluded their equation at the thematic committees, with Nepali Congress taking the leadership of 4, CPN UML 3, CPN Maoist Center 2, and CPN Unified Socialist Janata Samajwadi Party and Janmat Party 1 each. The Parliament Secretariat has said the process of appointment of committee chairs will begin at the earliest. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces what they think of the trend of appointing controversial individuals to higher positions. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
गरिबहरुले चाहिँ भनौं अब केही काम गरे पनि तिनीहरुलाई कानुन लाग्ने नेताहरुले जे गरे पनि अब तिनीहरुलाई केही पनि नहुने अब यो त राम्रो लाग्यो हैन
भ्रष्ट र नराम्रो मान्छेहरुलाई दिएर देश विकास कसरी हुन्छ
विश्व समाजमा देशको छविलाई नबिगाड्नु त्यस्तो छवि मान्छेलाई चाहिँ नै नियुक्ति दिए राम्रो हुन्छ
जो राम्ररी काम गर्छ उहाँले ठुलो पोस्टमा गर्नुपर्ने
आफू पनि गलत भएको हुनाले उनीहरुले त्यस्तै प्रवृत्तिका मान्छेहरुलाई विभिन्न दलहरुले सबैले अगाडि सार्ने मेन कारण नै
सम्झौताका आधारमा यस्ता व्यक्तिहरुलाई विभिन्न लाभांश लिने पदहरुमा नियुक्ति गरे जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ
यो प्रविधि भनेको चरम राजनीतिक शक्तिको दुरुपयोग हो
आफू टिक्नको लागि र आफू रहिरहनको लागि चाहिँ यो यस्तो यो खराब किसिमको गतिविधिलाई चाहिँ अब अगाडि निरन्तरता गरिरहेको
निर्दोष साबित गर्न सकेको खण्डमा चाहिँ उहाँहरुलाई चाहिँ दिनपर्छ फेरि पनि चान्स दिनपर्छ सिक्ने मौका दिनपर्छ
कतैबाट नाता पर्ने कारणले पनि कतिपय व्यक्तिहरु उही व्यक्तिहरु राजनीतिक नियुक्तिमा पर्दै आएका छन्
नेताहरुकै स्वार्थको कारणले गर्दा
यो लाजमर्दो कुरा हो यस्तो चाहिँ नगर्दा ठीक हुने थियो
राजनीतिको पार्टीहरुलाई अब जे गर्दा नि हुन्छ भन्ने छ
आरोप प्रमाणित भएकालाई पनि अहिले दिएको देखिन्छ बिल्कुल यस्तो काम गर्नु हुँदैन यसले गर्दा राजनीतिक पार्टीहरुको छवि गिर्दै गएको छ
निर्वाचन खर्च उठाउनका लागि बिचौलिया आफू अनुकूलको मान्छे आफू नजिकको मान्छे राजनीतिक भडा गर्न नियुक्ति गर्ने प्रक्रिया
राम्ररी छानबिन गरेर अब के रहेछ त उसको वास्तविकता खोज्नु पर्छ
आफूलाई सपोर्ट होस् र भविष्यमा यो कुराहरु पनि लिक आउट नहोस् भन्नका लागि यस्ता खाली मान्छेलाई खोजी नियुक्ति दिइरहेको बुझिन्छ
All 3 tiers of governments in major cities like Pokhara, Janakpur, Nepalganj and Dhankari have miserably failed in management of solid waste. From lack of dumping sites to lapses in collection of waste, the government's indifference has tarnished the image of the cities while compelling the residents to live amid garbage. Since the international airport in Pokhara came into operation at the start of the year, the landfill site in Bache Badwa was shifted temporarily to Lame Ahal. Locals in the region have obstructed the dumping of waste since Wednesday, saying the initial agreement of burying the waste with soil was not implemented. Streets in Pokhara, which is dubbed as the tourism capital of the country at the moment, have been piled up with wastes. This has also raised the risk of locals contracting water and airborne various diseases. Janakpur, popular as cultural and religious hub of the country, shares a similar story at the lack of a secure dumping site. The sub-metropolis has said it has locked a 30-biga land for lease to use as a landfill site. The sub-metropolis at the moment is collecting but dumping wastes near riverbanks arbitrarily. The scenario is similar in Nepalganj and Dhankari sub-metropolis in Sudur Paschim, where solid waste management has failed to establish landfill sites. Meanwhile, Birganj in recent time has better managed solid wastes in recent time since the establishment of a dumping site some 4 years ago. The metropolis has coordinated with the private sector to create a 3-stage waste management system across 32 wards. The metropolis has also been exemplary in implementing punishments to those who dump wastes arbitrarily. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. Why has the problem of garbage management in big cities not resolved? Your options are A, lack of coordination, B, leadership without plans, and C, lack of public awareness. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. Activists and politicians have slammed several bills that were recently passed in Pakistan ahead of the general elections. Many lawmakers say that some of the bills were approved in haste and bypassed democratic norms. The outgoing government of Pakistan has passed a raft of legislation during the last 30 days. Many parliamentarians have complained that some of those bills were not properly debated and oftentimes not even referred to the parliamentary committees, sparking fears about the setting of negative precedents in the South Asian country. At least 4 bills, which have since become law, were singled out for specific criticism. The Pakistan Army Act proposes up to 5 years in prison for those who disclose sensitive information pertaining to the security of the country or the military. The Official Secrets Amendment Bill grants blanket powers to intelligence agencies. And the Personal Data Protection Bill and the E-Safety Bill make it difficult for media organizations to obtain tax and other detailed information on individuals, especially government officials and politicians. All of these bills sailed through Pakistan's parliament, especially the lower house or National Assembly. The Official Secrets Amendment Bill, for instance, was passed by the lower house but faced fierce resistance in the parliament's upper house, the Senate, when it landed there a few days ago. The bill was passed on Sunday, but only after it had been amended to address the concerns of some senators and other stakeholders who forced the government to refer the bill to a Senate committee. A top U.S. official traveled to Niger and held difficult talks with junta officials yesterday. U.S. State Department's acting number 2 traveled to Niger and held talks yesterday with senior officials from the country's junta, which seized power last month, but made no progress in meetings she described as difficult. U.S. Acting Deputy Secretary of State Victoria Nuland was in Niamey and met with Musa Salahu Barmu, the self-proclaimed defense chief of Niger's junta, and 3 other colonels supporting him. Nuland said Washington offered ways to restore democratic order, but the junta officials showed little interest. She added that the U.S. side conveyed what is at stake in terms of economic assistance and other aid if the situation is not reversed. Nuland spoke 2 hours with Barmu and his team, and there were some side conversations. Her request to meet the ousted President Mahmoud Bazoum or with junta leader Abdurrahmane Tiani were not granted. The coup, the 7th in the West and Central Africa in 3 years, has rocked the Sahel region, one of the poorest in the world.
Sports news.
Runners-up of the Martyrs Memorial A-Division League, Machindra Football Club, will clash against Bhutan's Paro Football Club today in the preliminary stage of the AFC Cup playoff. The match is scheduled to kick off at 5:30 p.m. at the Dasrat Stadium in Tripureshwar. Speaking at the pre-match conference held yesterday, captain of Machindra Football Club, Vishal Shrestha, said Paro Football Club should not be taken lightly. Skipper Shrestha stated that the match against Bhutan's Premier League champions Paro FC will not be easy as national players are included in the team. Machindra Club have signed 8 additional players to play in this match. Skipper Shrestha informed that the team has prepared well for the match despite practice being affected by rain. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.